Hey there, welcome to Trauma and Manifestation. Does this even work? Well, this topic may seem quite heavy duty to you, but let me tell you that the practice that we will be indulging in through this session is such an amazing practice. We are going to have a lot of fun. Trust me on that. So, before we start the session, I want you to grab a pen and a paper, a sheet, a journal, coloring pen, a pencil will do too. Whatever tickles your fancy right now is good with us. So, as Dr. Gabermaid said about trauma, trauma is not what happens to you, it's what happens inside you as a result of what happened to you. And let me tell you, what happens inside us is also socially conditioned. When we go through certain situations, maybe abandonment, maybe betrayal, maybe grief, maybe we have been dealing with a narcissistic abuser for so long and we have trauma because of that. But we also have a socially conditioned system. Our brain tells us how to react to the trauma and what really the trauma is. Our brain sets the path for us, for our reaction, from what we should think and feel about the trauma. Well, I'm not saying here that trauma should be glorified or something very good. No, it is not, because it is difficult. I know that. But still, there is system within us that actually guides us to feel, to think, and to believe in our trauma. And trauma is nothing but a false situation. I have seen with my clients that if they had had a lifetime, a past life where they were monk or they were high priestess or somehow connected to the energy field, the occult realm or the spiritual aspects of life, they have attracted trauma, deep trauma in those past lives, and they keep attracting those same kind of trauma in this lifetime too. So if you are a highly sensitive person, if you are an awakened person, you already know you feel a lot than the other average person. And when you feel a lot, your nervous system feels a lot, and everything is always so much more for us that our procrastination, laziness, or our freeze response, everything that is a reaction, preconditioned reaction, maybe, because trauma is such a complex process, right? So everything becomes a fault of ours rather than seeing it as a reaction, a simple reaction, and that also socially conditioned reaction of a situation we have been in. And this is why our joy is delayed, our fulfillment is delayed, our manifestations are delayed. Before we go into it further, let me introduce myself. Hey there, I am Paulami. I'm a quantum soul coach, a healer. I am a psychic. I'm a tarot master. I am a numerologist and shamanic practitioner. I'm just thinking if I'm missing some of my certifications. Beyond them, I'm a clairvoyant, clairsentient, and clairaudient since birth. I'm a psychic, as I said earlier. I have had gone through SA. I have had near-death experience, and I was in coma, and doctors didn't know if I would come out of the coma, but I did in 3 days, and that too with an amazing, powerful experience, but in a paralyzed body. The next 6 months, I would start downloading stuff, which I didn't know what it was, but I started using them, and the journey as a healer started from there. Before that, I was already a tarot master, so I knew a little bit of it. But what I was not ready was for the dark night of the soul. You may think, Paul, you had gone through a near the experience, so this is an awakening experience, right? People awaken from these kind of experiences. That didn't happen with me, let me tell you. So I was a very happy-go-lucky person in my past life in the sense before the near-death experience, and I manifested a lot in my life from the master's degree to the college I wanted to get into to the job, everything. And I also helped my roommates, my colleagues manifest their dreams, but I was not really into it because that was a different life altogether. I really didn't know energy. I didn't know manifestation, but I was doing it because I felt so connected. I felt this was a part of life. And then I suppressed so much of my grief, my abandonment wound, my trauma, you know, through abuse. They all came out like a can of worms after my near death experience. I left my job as a HR manager. I started panicking when I'd go out of my home. And in between all that, I started gathering the certifications, doing this, doing that. I also healed myself from my paralysis, along with the help of one of my colleagues in healing, in healing space. It was an amazing time and it was a difficult time, all put in together. But the most amazing experience, or you can say a memory I have during that period, was getting clients from nowhere, and helping those clients go from 0 to 100. While my manifestation, maybe I got a huge manifestation, I achieved the dream, and then there was low, 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 down, 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 low, low. And I was like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? Why am I not manifesting when my clients are continuously doing so through my channel of support and help? And I was channeling for myself, but I can do that. I can achieve. I was suicidal. I was ever, going through this drain, down the drain, and difficult period of my life, let me tell you. And my clients were thriving, and I really felt happy because that is what kept me going, that motivation. And when in 2017 I had my first soul awakening, I heard my soul talking to me in this big meditation hall of the Vipassana Center of Minnesota. I knew that I was doing something not right. And it was not looking at, not acknowledging everything I have buried deep inside. I can laugh about it now. I feel good about it now. But then it was a real difficult experience. And I know highly sensitive people like you, people who have awakened, you too have gone through these kind of experiences and you fear that confrontation, as we say, with our trauma, right? But actually, it's not a confrontation. Trauma can be the base to our superpowers, which I discovered, after my spiritual experience 2017 and my spiritual awakening 2017, and the Kundalini awakening and the spiritual experience I had with it from 2020 till now. So even moving from New York to India had been harrowing, and I felt restricted. And that is when I started realizing how much my nervous system has gathered and it wasn't letting go. So I started working with it, and I manifested six figures here in an environment which I felt restricted in. And that's the truth of it. And the practice, or the practices that took me from zero to hero, is something the prequel I am going to share with you on 20th June for free. That is flow boarding. Now, flow boarding is something which is beyond vision boarding. I achieved 80% of my dream last year from my vision board. And let me tell you, 80% is good enough. Why? Because if our vision board is not expanding from January to December, it's not changing, it's actually not working for us. What we miss out with the vision board is what flow boarding brings in, the spirit guide, the soul that we miss maybe in the vision board. You may say, Paulami, I always connect with my soul, I manifest with my soul, and I channel my soul and I create my vision board like that. Let's experiment with this simple process today. You will see what I'm talking about. And you can join me on 20th June for the free session, and you'll see there are difference between vision board and flow boarding. So flow boarding is something that will regulate your nervous system without you knowing that it's regulating your nervous system. And it will give rise to all those juicy superpowers you have got in you without you even understanding or knowing them. We don't need to understand them. We don't need to know them. We just have had to have them, discover them, and embody them. And you will be doing just that. Okay. So yeah, not taking much time, let's start the process today. And what I want to tell you before we start the process is that even if you think you are not an artist, not a creative, that's okay. We are not creating anything ugly or beautiful here. We are just letting our intuition come through. And I believe personally for me, writing is my soul manifesting through us. And writing is an art. If you know how to write, you are an artist. You don't have to draw like Picasso. We don't need that. Okay. So we are not judging ourselves through this process. We are just doing it and letting our intuition come through. Okay. So before we start the process, I'll also like to tell you that when you start drawing, please draw in the, this is my sheet. Okay. Please draw in the middle of the sheet, just eyeball the middle and draw whatever you want to draw. Okay. We want the left and the right side. We want space in the left and the right side of the paper. And I'll tell you why as we go through the process. Okay. So let's start with this technique. I want you to use your dominant hand and feel the pulse of your non-dominant hand. My dominant hand is my right hand, and I'm putting it on my left hand to feel the pulse. You can do it and just close your eyes. Feel the pulse. As you feel your pulse, you will feel instantly, you will feel calmer. You may also feel your heart center through your pulse if you are highly sensitive. And now I want you to take a deep breath and think about one intention which you want to manifest really fast. Is there any change in your pulse? My pulse is faster. Now I want you to notice your emotions when you think about this intention and you are also focusing on your pulse. Are you scared or are you motivated? Maybe you are both, but I want you to determine the dominant feeling. And I want you to take that feeling and draw it on the sheet. It can be a rectangle, it can be a triangle or circle, a flower, a tree, a stick figure, whatever you want to. It can be just one alphabet, if you may, but I want to draw your feeling on the sheet. So this is what I have drawn. I'm a little doubtful and overwhelmed with this intention, and I feel it. I feel the intention, it's beautiful, but I'm overwhelmed. So, whatever this is, as I said, we are not judging. We are just letting our intuition come through, and that is so important. So, after you do this, I want you to use the left side. So, now we have a segregation, right? Either you have felt motivated, more motivated than scared, um, or you have felt more scared than motivated, right? So you have determined it. But if you think that you can determine between the two, there's a lack of clarity in there. So you can come back to the video, go through the process again, and determine what is important. Was the cure important at that moment? Was your motivation or your good feeling important in that moment? Okay. So if you had felt more scared than motivated, on the left side, I want to write why you felt scared or why did you judge your intention. Write 2, 3 points there. And on the right side, then write how your life changed because this goal was achieved so effortlessly. I know it's like going from deep end to the highest frequency, and we want to do just that. And if you want to look at whatever you have drawn, if you are drawn to it, look at it and then write. If you felt you were more motivated than scared, then I want you to write on the left hand side ideas that may have come through or will come through right now. Even if you don't think anything, or there is no idea, I want you to just sit there and imagine that you have an idea and write it down. If you imagine that you have that idea that will strategize your whole move, your action will be inspired and you'll achieve the goal, what that can be. And I want you to write down because it's your soul talking. Let's be very frank here. And then on the right side of the sheet again, on your right side, I want you to write what happened after you achieved your goal, how good it felt for you, how what changed for you, feeling it. Let's start the process. When you write your fears and doubts, don't keep anything out because you feel ashamed of it or guilty of it. There is no judgment here. We are just letting our intuition flow. We are just letting our feelings flow. So be generous, okay? So I am done. Here it is. I have written all my doubts on the left side regarding this particular intention, which did came up and surprised me. And then I wrote how I may feel when this happened. And I know exactly because I also feel motivated whenever I think about this intention. But yes, I feel more scared than motivated. So when you do this exercise, you will see subtle changes. And I want you to look at yourself for the next 24 hours while you are taking some much needed action towards this particular intention, this particular goal. You will see that the attitude that you had before when you were working or strategizing for this particular intention will be different from what you will be doing now, the next 24 hours or the next 48 hours. And if you feel the change right now when you are writing on the right side of the sheet and you felt that motivation even when you were scared, let me know in the comments because I felt a lot relieved, overwhelmed yet relieved. It was so, so good for me. And I do know that it is also good for you. When we use our creative side, we are also using the part of the goddess, the part of the void, or what we know as a black hole of creation. Everything is created from there. And flow boarding is actually based on all that process. And those process comes from our deeper experiences of life, even trauma, which is a deep experience. So I do hope that this process will keep you supplicated. Even if you don't join me on 20th June and go through the prequel of the flow boarding process, we'll have more processes then, more techniques then. If you are not joining me then, even then, this process will help you a lot if you keep doing it. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. And I do hope to see you on 20th June on our Zoom session, live session. And yes, I hope that you achieve your superpower, you connect to your superpower, you discover your superpower pretty soon because you have so many. Looking forward to connecting with you again. Angel blessings.